Morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today, we're going to be continuing our series talking about professions in hardcore and why you should be going them. And today's profession is going to be leatherworking in hardcore and why you should do it. Now, leatherworking is the first one we're talking about that has a complementary profession that goes with it, which is skinning here. You really gather the hides from any beast, really, and some humanoids and classic like yetis and stuff are skinnable, and worgans as well, but largely beasts are going to be what you use to sort of farm the leathers for leatherworking. You can, of course, always just simply buy the leathers if you want to, and sometimes the leathers are really cheap, but the higher up you go, the more expensive it gets. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first things first, when we're talking about leatherworking, there are a few things that you really want to make sure you're aware of. One of the biggest ones is that at the end game, leatherworking has 3 types of gear specializations. That is going to be elemental, dragon scale, and tribal leatherworking, and you cannot have all 3, and each one is vastly different and will heavily impact your leatherworking. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the more utility items, because I just like starting off with the utility stuff and the stuff that you're really going to be using day to day to help keep your character alive. And with leatherworking, that is going to be armor kits. While these are an enchantment, so they use the enchantment slot, if you're not going to be getting leg or hand enchants for a very long time, chest, you can just slap these on. Any armor is better than no armor at all, and it adds up. Once you're up to heavy armor and you're level 20, and the items that you're putting on are level 15, you can really start to get some decent armor. You can get almost 100 armor, and if like you're a druid or something, when you go into bear form, it increases your percent of armor. So like on a druid, that is almost like 200-300 armor at level 20. So it's just really something to keep in mind. They're super easy to make, like just 5 heavy leather and a fine thread, 5 thick leather and a silken thread. Just really easy armor enchantments that could save your life, and they're usable on every character because armor is beneficial on every single character. And then something people might not be aware of is leatherworking also has some bags that you can make, and these are mainly leather pouches for hunters, but you can also make a Kaghoe hide bag, a little 6-slot bag. This is really useful on Horde, really, when the Barons farming those Kaghoes. But you can get a Kaghoe hide bag that is a little 6-slot if you're doing solo self-found or something like that. Now, with where we're at on the server, there's not too much need for that. So next, we're going to go to the gear specialization. So as I mentioned earlier, there are elemental, dragon scale, and tribal leatherworking specs. Elemental leatherworking is going to be lots of elemental resistance gear and leather type agility gear. Dragon scale leatherworking is going to be more male type gear, and then tribal leatherworking is going to be lots of leather, both intellect and agility type gear, and devil sword armor. So for me, the choice is a no-brainer. I believe tribal leatherworking is the most consistent and best one for you to go into, mainly because they get Hide of the Wild, which is an insanely good healer cape that everyone is going to want if they're playing any healer. I should be getting this on my priest as we speak. It is just an insanely good cape that you will use for a very long time. This comes out with the release of Dire Maul, but it is just such a strong cape, and I don't think I replaced mine until Nax on my priest back in OG Classic. That's how good it was and how long I kept it. And then obviously Devil's Shore hands and legs are just incredibly good pieces of gear for anyone. They're just really good. You can get them at level 53. You can make a decent amount of money just fighting Devil's Shore, skinning them, making these early pieces of gear. They're some of the best gear that you can get at that level for rogues, warriors, feral druids, etc. Elemental and Dragon Scale Leatherworking have some more niche patterns that you can go with, but they're not really profitable, and I don't really see much use in pursuing those lines of leatherworking. But there are some very niche, specific patterns that you can get and use. If you're making fire res gear, stuff like that, that's where being an elemental leatherworker would come in handy. And then there's some pre-biz sets that you can do with Dragon Scale Leatherworking that are decent gear when you're early on, but I would honestly just consider buying those pieces of gear with gold that you make from making Devil Swords and Hide of the Wilds from your tribal leatherworking. And then finally, I want to take the time to talk about leatherworking's passive income. So when we're looking at any piece of gear here, all the high-end pieces, one of the reagents there, cured rugged hide. In order to get cured rugged hide, you have to get refined deep rock salt. In order to do that, you have to have an engineer make you a salt shaker, and then you use the salt shaker on the deep rock salt, and this can be done every 3 days. And so that becomes refined deep rock salt, and that makes cured rugged leather or hide right here. So it's just something to be aware of, and it's very similar to sort of the Mooncloth CD, and it sells for a lot per cured rugged hide because of that cooldown, and there's less leather workers than there are tailors, so you can get a nice price. I believe there are somewhere upwards of 30 gold on average here on the hardcore server. So just something to keep in mind with leatherworking, and the fact that it also has a passive thing that you should make sure you do every single time, because it's just printing free gold, and if you're playing the game actively, you're going to need as much gold as you can. Anyway, guys, that's sort of it for this video. If you found anything helpful, definitely let me know down below. If you think I missed anything, definitely comment and add it to the video. Leatherworking is one of the professions I have sort of the least experience with, so this video is a little hard to sort of do for me and sort of craft it into something that I could be proud of, but I really hope it helps you out, and if there's anything you think I missed, definitely drop it down below. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. If you happen to find anyone that you know would also benefit from watching this video, please share it with them. It helps me out a ton and allows me to keep doing what I love every single day, and that is gaming and sort of helping people any way that I can. So finally, thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.